it's undeniable that he is one of the GOATs, but he's not. I don't think he's a GOAT for anything. Even though musically, I can put him as a GOAT hip-hop. I 100% Mount Rushmore hip-hop GOAT. He's top 2 and he's not 2. Like I can do that. But if I want to go influence over the culture.
Welcome back to Who's the GOAT podcast with myself, Leroy Brito. This is the podcast where every week I discuss with musicians, athletes, entertainers, and comedians about the age-old question, who is the greatest of all time? This week we've got a great episode with a friend of mine, comedian Darren Harriott. If you haven't seen Darren's work, please just go online, watch his comedy, it's amazing. He discusses who his GOAT is, so let's go straight into the episode.
Boom.
We're here. Finally got to speak to you, mate. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, very good, man. Very good. If you don't know, I'm speaking to Darren Harriott, comedian, presenter, all-round good guy, one of the good guys in comedy as well. And we're going to go straight into it, mate, because I've been dying to know who your GOAT is. You haven't told me, so let's crack on. Let's go.
Yeah, so, look, okay, we're talking GOATs here, man.
What subject first? What subject are we going into?
Here's the thing. This is why this person is one of the GOATs. It could be fashion, it could be music, it could be culture.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, buddy, it's Kanye West.
That's good. Okay,
right.
So let's just clarify which version of Kanye West.
Here's the thing, right? I love the old Kanye, like everybody says, right? Big fan.
Like he was your cool cousin.
Bro, I've always said this, if Kanye West died 2013, right? 2014, 2013, just before the Trump presidency around then, we would look at him very, very differently, right? If he died 2010, 2011, even better. 2009, crazy, right? Here's the thing. Okay, let me put in a disclaimer. You said pick your GOAT, right? Now,
I did.
There's many people that I look at as I have an affinity for. There's plenty of GOATs. I could have gone with people like Cristiano Ronaldo, Dwayne Johnson, Wesley Snipes, people like that, right? Ryan Coogler I look at as being one of the GOATs coming up now. There's plenty of people. The Black Power Ranger. I could have picked any of these people as being.
He was the outliner. He was the black GOAT back in the day.
My man was dancing when everybody was fighting. He was going in, right? But here's the thing. A disclaimer. I don't agree with Kanye West's views, right? He's racist.
Yeah, let's just get that out there now.
Bro, because there's going to be a lot of glazing. So I need to get this out of the way. I don't agree with his views. I think he's racist, anti-Semitic. He definitely needs help. We can all see that there's clearly something.
It's a mental health issue there, which unfortunately, when you're that rich, no one says no to you. No one's looking out for you.
Yes, 100%. The problem is when you have that much money and that much influence, as soon as you get somebody who goes, hey, maybe you don't do that, they're gone, right? And there's always somebody else who steps in. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, you know what? Let's just do music, right?
Okay.
Let's just do music. Kanye West, people know Kanye West, of course, when he dropped College Dropout. What was College Dropout? About 2004, of course, Through the Wire, all of those tracks that everybody really loves and respects. Great album, okay?
It was the beats for me, not the rhymes. I've never really liked them on the rhymes.
Boom, here we go, the beats. Here's what people don't know. Kanye West produced pretty much all of the Jay-Z songs that everybody loves. The Blueprint stuff. He produced Alicia Keys, You Don't Know My Name. You know how big
he was the Mad Rapper. He was producing for the Mad Rapper back in the day.
Bro, he's...
And we don't condone Puffy and everything was going on there as well.
Listen,
we're doing an apology tour here, aren't we?
Oh, we really are. This is going to have one of those disclaimers on and just say, listen, we're talking about the artist, the art. Mm-hmm. Listen, he produced he's made so many bangers that we don't even really know about that was produced by Kanye West, right? He comes out. Now, who would you say, Leroy, who is some of your favorite rappers? Who you would go, there's some of my favorite rap. No, you know what? Favorite musicians, doesn't matter what genre.
Favorite musicians, doesn't matter what genre. So we'll go into the rappers in a bit, but favorite musicians doesn't matter what genre. I'm up there with MJ and Prince. That's
Okay.
a Marvin Gaye. So that's where I am. I got to see Stevie Wonder the other day, 2 days ago in Cardiff.
Sick.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, you know what? All of those were great shouts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If we're thinking of music, Michael Jackson has maybe, what would you say, 5 albums, would you say? Michael, I'm not including Jackson 5.
Yeah, of course. So would have been Off the Wall,
Yeah,
Thriller,
banger.
Bad, Dangerous.
Still a banger. Still a banger. But
Yeah. Well, you got to remember the time on there. So that is the banger. That's one of my favorite Eminem tracks. And then you would have had the History album, and then you would have had the Invincible. There's a few nuggets on there.
Okay,
but it's not MJ, is it?
Okay, so we can confidently say he's got 3, but the 3 are some of the best 3 albums there's ever been, right?
Yeah,
Like
sequence.
Ever.
It's a sequence of albums, isn't it?
We can say that. Here is the thing, right? Kanye maybe has a 5-album run of just game-changing albums. Because listen, I love Kendrick. Here's Kendrick, right? Kendrick. We got, you can say Section 80, which I think was a mixtape, right? I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Good Kid, Mad City, phenomenal album, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? To Pimp a Butterfly?
That was the album for him. Yeah. That was the magnus opus.
See, you say that, I hated it because it's got no replay value. There's no replay value. We're just talking about slaves. There's no replay value, right? However,
you the slave rap?
Because I don't want to listen to that when I'm getting ready for the club. Like it's not. The problem is, right? But here's the thing: I will give you that is a classic album. I didn't enjoy it, but I honestly know everybody has said the complete opposite of what I've said. That, like yourself, right? So I can agree. Good Kid, Mad City. To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn is an absolute banger of a classic, right? I love that album, right? Then, the others, couple of tracks, but do I put them up there with those 3? No. Drake.
No.
Drake's my guy. Drake is my guy.
See,
right?
He's not my guy. He's not my guy.
He's not your guy.
Never been my guy. Because you've got to realize, so how old are you, Dan? How old are you?
I'm 36.
36, yeah. I'm 44 this year, but I've got 2 older brothers who dragged me up through hip hop. So for me, the idea, like Kanye's new school for me. Do you know? Does that make sense? In terms of like, I'm still stuck in like the boom bap era, selling drugs in Brooklyn. That's me in hip hop. Yeah. So
I hear it.
Well, yeah, a little bit later, but yeah. So when people say like Drake and stuff, it's like it's a rapper who can't rap and a singer who can't sing.
Okay, I think Drake also has like a 3-album run, right? Take Care, Nothing Was the Same. However, they're debatable. It's a debatable 3-album run. Eminem, I think, has Slim Shady LP, Marshall Mathers MP, Eminem Show is definitely. Kanye has at least 5 in a row that have game changers. College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s and Heartbreak.
I stopped after that.
This is why.
Because when it started, those it just wasn't for me. Like I love those albums. I'm like, I listen to like Good Night. That song's a banger as well. But it's Most Def who makes that.
Listen, I get why. Because I remember being a security guard in 2013 when Yeezy dropped, working in Coventry. This festival called Godiva, and me and my friends were in a car listening to Yeezus going, what is this sound? Brown, black skinhead, all this. He keeps changing the genres every single time.
He's an artist, man. That's the growth.
He's a complete artist. Now, we can talk about the later albums, which he's still had some bangers on, but the thing is, I would say, for me, he's had a 5-album run that has changed the game. There is no other, and again, we'll come to the controversies later, but when it comes to rappers who have killer first 3 albums, no one's in denial about Kanye's first 3 are absolute game-changing. The sound, the samples, the visuals, the find your dreams come true. The way he just samples things up, it's insane, right?
Well, can't tell me nothing. I honestly thought that was a sample, but it's actually someone just singing it. Because I thought that was just something he picked up off a record. Whoa. I thought that was a sample, but that's actually just a session musician. Yes.
Listen. All the tracks that Kanye's got with other people goes without saying, right? Kanye, I'm not saying Kanye Kanye reinvented the duo album, right? So, for example, you had people like Outkast, of course, Big Boy, Andre 3000. They were Outkast as a pair. When in 2010, 2011, when Kanye and Jay-Z came together and did Watch the Throne, right?
Watch the Throne.
I don't know where you was. I remember where I was. I was a broke-ass comedian trying to make money, and I wanted to get tickets to go see him because it was 60 quid, and I couldn't afford 60 quid 15 years ago, right? I was broke pocket. Yeah. Watching them, how the production, each track was a banger. It's Watch the Throne. I remember the album cover, it was just gold.
Yeah,
now, Kanye, Kanye also changed the game, especially when it comes to the albums later on. I mean, he dropped The Life of Pablo. The Life of Pablo, for me, was a messy album. The reason why it was messy was he was newly married, if I remember, with Kim. The whole Kim, him thing, the kids, all that sort of stuff. He was annoyed at the media getting at him. What he did was he dropped the album. A week later, he starts changing the album. He's already editing songs on the album. He added a Chance the Rapper verse on. Don't even get me started about the people he influenced. Chance the Rapper, there'd be no Chance the Rapper. There'd be no Travis Scott. There'd be no Drake if it wasn't for Kanye. Travis Scott's whole thing is Kanye. He took everything. All the clothing deals, the trainers, the sound. T-Pain and Kanye were both the guys with the voice over the 808s, the vocoders, and then T-Pain did one way.
Taken from other people. That was just taken from other people. That's like Roger Troutman and those type of things.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we could talk about Casey JoJo and whatnot from back then, but he popularized it, and we'll come to that in a bit as well. Now, also, Kanye, right? Remember 20, okay, drop Watch the Throne. And again, I'm going to go back when we talk about fashion, right? So I'm just going up.
Yeah.
Do you remember Kanye? He's like, yo, I'm starting my own record label, man. Good music, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously,
John Legend, all those people.
John Legend, what's his face? The giant 2 Chainz, Big Sean. Yeah. Everybody was featured on it. Do you remember those tracks that they dropped? Mercy, Lamborghini Mercy. And then he dropped Click. He had a whole album that was just full of bangers. I remember everybody in the club was like, Lamborghini Mercy. Everybody was losing their thing. And then he's like, oh yeah, I've got this Click thing, right? Then he goes, and now this is during the sort of, you can call it the downfall for real with Kanye around here.
Sure.
After that, he's like, he's hooking up with Pusha T. Now, Pusha T won a Grammy for that album Daytona, which I didn't really enjoy, but for some reason people love Pusha T.
They got a new album out as well, haven't they? Clips got
a new album out. Yeah. Him and Malice. And it's like, I don't know, man. I'm 55-year-old rappers. Like, I don't know, man.
It doesn't age well. It doesn't age well, man. That's the sad part. I remember going to see Ghostface like 15 years ago. But for me, Wu-Tang I grew up on. And Ghostface is in the crowd shouting, yo, who loves pussy? And it's like, come on, man. You're 55. We all do.
Like, bro, I'll pay your child support, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah. He's out there. Now, here's the thing. Kanye then drops these 8 track list albums, right? Yeah, he drops Daytona. Yeah. He did one with Tiana Taylor that nobody fucking listened to. And then he dropped, and again, this was at one of the peaks of his sort of infamy when he was going through the whole bipolar and he was learning what bipolar is. And if you remember, he called his album something, I'm bipolar. That was the album cover. And if you listen to the track listing, he had tracks that have become like Violent Crimes is one of the biggest TikTok songs going, remix. Now people love that. Violent Crimes is one of those songs that every single rapper does, and you know this. When this was just after Kanye had North, maybe around then, his first kid, and he realized, oh my gosh, like women, like they're things other than just for sex. And he made this whole song where he talked about, hey, I actually do like women outside of just porn and sex and stuff. They're good people. And Jay-Z did the exact same thing on his last album, 444. He had a song where he talks about how he didn't really appreciate women until he had kids. He's like, you're married to Beyonce, my G. Anyway, he dropped that one song, Ghost Town, which I think is Kanye's best song of the last 10 years, Ghost Town, which is a phenomenal, it's an emotional song. I love that track. Now, anyway, he does these 8 albums, all of this, and then he did the Christian album, which is
I never mind that type of stuff, man. Even though I'm not Christian, I just like the vibe. I just liked the whole vibe of it, just everyone harmonizing and everything.
Bro, there was a couple of tracks on there. I think one's called 24 and some other ones. They're so good. It's so good. And again, I don't like all the tracks on there because it gets weird. But but again, Kanye's production is undeniable, bro. He's
also,
on
just
fire.
in terms of the genius as well, you've got to think of like the whole concept. He wasn't just thinking of the music, he was thinking of the concept. So do you remember the Runaway video with the ballerinas and everything? And it was like, the whole album was a video, wasn't it? Because like the model come down from space and everything. And yeah, that you're selling him to me. Even though
Bro.
I will come back with you with about 5 better producers. I will. And even better producers on the mic. Better producers on the mic.
That is fine. Well. Better producers on the mic.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, let me just wrap this music thing up. We'll come back to that.
Go on.
Right. Then after that, of course, that was when we had the major controversy stuff really kicking off. It's been about a decade now. He drops the Donda. It's decent. Vultures. Again, he tried to do the whole, do you remember the whole Steam player thing where you could only listen to Donda if you download Steam? And even I never downloaded it, but even I was like, man, this is fucking stupid, bro. What are you doing?
Like barriers.
Yeah, it's so, and maybe I'm guessing he thought of that because Jay-Z was doing that scam that he did with Tidal, that he ripped all those artists off. I'm guessing it was all that was a fucking. How did people? No wonder Nicki Minaj is getting on his ass every day on Instagram and Twitter about it because he scammed those artists. Anyway, and here's the thing: I listened to Kanye's last he dropped like a little EP, Bully. I listened to that a couple of days ago. There's 2 tracks on there that are so beautiful. You listen to it and you go, and he's singing, he's melodic, he's not talking about any of the nonsense that he's banging on about. And you just go, again, you are so influential. You know how he said, what did he say that it was called? I can't remember the documentary about him where he talks about how he can see music or something. And it's
a condition. It's not a disorder, it's a condition. It's just the way your brain's wired. Yeah, you see it in colours and stuff like that. I'm like that with jokes. I see that shit in colour. Stevie vision.
If that was me, bro, I'm just seeing grey. I'm jaded, bro. They're all grey to me. It's brown. But if you see the way he acts and the way he is around music and his enthusiasm, you could tell that obviously there's something going on with him, whether it's autism or whatnot, or bipolar. But musically, no other artist has said, I'm doing this genre. I'm going to be the biggest, most famous rapper on this genre. And then he goes, you know what? Next album, I'm doing a completely different genre. Lil Wayne tried to do it with Rebirth, the hip-hop album where he dropped a hip-hop album. A metal album. He dropped a whole rock album. And I really liked it because rock and rap is my shit, man. I love that. But people hated it. Whereas with Kanye, and this again, so there's 3 elements to this Kanye. There's the music, there's the fashion, and there's the influence, right? And then because of Kanye, he changed every era, every genre of music and brought it in. If you listen to College Dropout, Late Registration, it's more orchestral. It's more just an orchestra. That's why there's that show.
He got John Bryan on, didn't he? He got John Bryan to do the music.
He did it, yeah. It's beautiful, and that's why when they tour it, you can go see it. It's called Late Orchestration, and he released it as Late Orchestration, and it's beautiful, right? And I think that's the greatest album ever, right? So that's Kanye's music. Who was it you wanted to talk about? Producer, rappers
on the mic, producers on the mic. Okay, so infinitely better, infinitely more influential. Q-Tip.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue Q-Tip with a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
But Kanye and Q-Tip.
MF Doom. He produced his own beats.
But
on the mic as well. You cannot touch him.
You don't like Kanye as a rapper? I know he's got ghostwriters, but you don't like Kanye. You don't think Kanye writes some bad boy lyrics? Listen to Can't Tell Me Nothing. Is it Can't Tell Me Nothing at the beginning?
Yeah, I like it, but it's the beats for me. But yeah, I'm just so. What was it? Large Professor on the mic and on the beats as well. So
You're naming like hard. You're naming like
I'm old school. That's just me. I look young, but I'm old school. I'm going to start talking about like Melly Mel and all that type of stuff now. Let's go old school.
Hey, listen, I can't argue because you're bringing up dudes who are like about that life, as in that's all they do. They just come in.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Yeah, I can give you that. I think Kanye's had some of the most iconic lines in terms of when he's rapping, like in terms of what he rap, because Kanye raps about stuff that most rappers rap about. But then, so for example, okay, let me just get to we'll go influence, right? So right, as being a longer hip hop fan than me, right? You know what rappers were talking. So when you first started listening to rap music, right? Whether if you listen to any rap music, even in the 80s, it was very different. It was very like lovable, color. And then you had NWA pop out the blue, right? NWA popped up, and people were like, "What the fuck?" And then MWA, and then you had Dr. Dre, and then you had Wu-Tang, and then all these other people, right? In 2003, 4, right? The biggest rapper in the entire world was 50 Cent, right?
Yeah.
50 Cent was the PIMP guy, the G-Unit guy. We all remember watching 50 Cent, and it's funny because you see him now and you go, this guy's a bit of a joke. He's a joker.
Yeah.
But back then, 50 Cent was the scariest. Bro. All 50 Cent's tracks were just dissing other rappers and wearing a bulletproof vest with a bunch of legit gangsters. Young Buck stabbed somebody at the Source Awards. like he was hanging about with gangsters, bro.
But that's the thing about Kanye, was the antidote to that type of stuff. And he was almost like, I was in university at the time, and it was like that. It's that backpacker. It was the backpacker hip hop, like Mos Def and those type of stuff, but a little bit more mainstream, a little bit more. He was an underdog, and that's why people loved him. He was the underdog with just confidence. But when he got what he wanted, be careful what you wish for, because that's when he obviously lost his mother as well, and I think that plays a massive part in where he is at the moment.
Here's the thing, bro. Do you like I said, 50 Cent was bulletproof vests, literally gunshot noises at the beginning and middle of his songs. Shotgun, shoot you up, all that thing.
Yeah.
It was all it was. And the trap would just go, right? Eminem was bigger than 50 Cent. He wasn't hotter because 50 Cent was more new. Yeah. But Eminem was obviously bigger. But Eminem was the silly guy who would talk about murdering and butchering his wife and stuff, right? That was Eminem. And he's the guy who dressed as a superhero costume, right? And he was the light relief at times to 50 Cent's gangsterdom. But when it was just 50, there was no time for fun. Anyway.
Yeah.
This guy, Kanye West's first big track, Through the Wire, was him talking about how he had wires in his mouth when he crashed his car.
I got a car crash. And the video as well, it made it. Everything about it, the sample, I get it, yeah? I do get it. That Kanye was dope.
That Kanye was dope. That Kanye was, listen, this is when I talk about influence on Kanye West, right? Like you said, backpacks, polos, Kanye West, Graduation, baggy polos, pink jumpers, blue tops. Yeah. The guy was carrying a backpack, and you know what was in his backpack? It wasn't even money. It was just hair care shit. He had stuff in his backpack that gangster didn't have. He's got lyrics where they go, where he would talk about in lyrics how people in barbershops talk whether he's gangster or not, just because I don't talk about guns and that. He don't do that. His album mascot. I've got in my house, in my kitchen, I've got all my favorite albums of all time, right? Various different artists on the wall. There is a Kanye Late Registration album. It's a bear. College Graduation, College Dropout, bear. Graduation. It's a bear flying with Murakami's artwork, right?
That was the story. The story. Yeah.
It's a rapper who's got all these pink and bright colors and rapping, and then he goes, okay. That is the trilogy of my high school dropout, my early life. Guess what now? We're going new. We're going 808s and Heartbreak. I'm wearing gray peppy suits with a bow tie and a mohawk. Excuse me? What? And I'm going to be singing about just pure love songs. And I'm going to write Find Your Love for Drake and all this and Show Me You Will and do what? You're going to do auto-tune singing after you've done all this? Yes. Then
switch it up.
We get to Yeezus. No, sorry, not Yeezus. Then we get to My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy. Again, oh, shit.
That was a banger. That was a banger.
That's his great. People say that's his greatest album of all time. My Beautiful Twisted Tar. I still think Late Registration hits me, but I can understand why. And then we get, not only do we get Kanye, but we get Kanye with doing with features with your Jay-Z's, your Nicki Minaj's. You talked about the Runaway video, which I think was 24 minutes long. We get the more artistic Kanye. This is Kanye trying to blend everything he learned on his first 4 albums with this hip hop style. And then we get Yeezus. We get Kanye. He's out here using experimental sounds. He's mixing reggae with drum and bass, with dubstep. Dubstep was pretty big. Dubstep's in Watch the Throne as well. I Can't Stop. That's a dubstep Flux Pavilion beat. He starts blending genres. And by the time we get to like Watch the Throne and good music, he's completely peaked. My favorite era of clothing, right? The fashion and the culture and the influence was Watch the Throne era, because it was the leather biker trousers with the zips on the side, the zips at the bottom, the zips on the side of the top, the ripped t-shirts. He made brands like Givenchy, Bape, Balmain, Balenciaga. We didn't know any of these brands before Kanye was there. Because the thing was, and this has always been his thing, that at times it's annoying, is he's obsessed with it. He's always been just obsessed with these brands. And I remember listening to him talking about like Selena and Chloe. I'm like, Chloe? I don't know what Chloe is. I'm a little black kid from the black country, man. I don't know about this Chloe brandy, Bape and all this. He's always been about that. And that's why a lot of those brands, and Fendi, I didn't know what Fendi was in 2009, but guess what? He went to Rome and learned how to make Fendi clothing back then. I didn't know that. He was rapping about it. Yeah,
and that's one of the things that people love about him. He's authentic. You can see a lot of yourself in him back in the day. Just like he was the underdog, and that's what people love. I do have to correct you on one thing. You said about in the backpacks he had hair care products. I guarantee that Eazy-E was rolling with some hair care products back in the day. You must have been with that spray, brother. Yeah,
listen,
that world of curls.
You think he had a world of curls and one of those bags you put over the sleeve?
Yes.
In fact, 100%. But you know what? And again, this is what I talk about when I always mention those 90s rappers and whatnot. 90s rappers, 80s metal guys, 70s, like your Rick Jameses and your James Brown. All of these men had all of these what we would probably class nowadays as more effeminate things. They had permed hair. They would wear skinny, tight leather boots. With skinny trousers ripped. They'd have their t-shirts buttoned down to their navels and all of this stuff. But guess what? If you even implied that they were slightly homosexual or even slightly feminine, James Brown or Eazy-E or Rick James would have hit you in the nose with a gun, right? They didn't take that. Whereas you had guys like Kanye West, who never came across as anything like that, or even as a gangster. But his whole thing was, what made Kanye West stand out was, his whole thing was, back then, he used these, I would say, influence to be like, listen, as especially as black men, the masculinity, because again, he would rap about all of this stuff, is we can be silly. We can wear what we want. You see now, like, I'm a big fan of like Japanese anime and all this sort of stuff and cartoony stuff. He was big into that. He's obsessed with like Akira and otaku culture and waifu and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. He put that in his. I mean, look at the graduation front cover. That's a Takashi Murakami artwork, man. Nobody was rocking. I didn't know what that was back then. I just thought it was a cool drawing. Now, I'm like, I'm trying to get Takashi Murakami stuff because it's like it's in.
You go to Japan as well, don't you?
Say that again?
You go to Japan as well, don't you? You love it over there.
Yeah, big. He lives over there, which is perfect for him now, especially with all the controversy. Because Japanese people, man, they don't care about it. They probably most of them don't know who he is, which is mad to me. But his influence over the music sphere, and in terms of the art, and in terms of of course, he's been inspired, but we always, production-wise, and you mentioned great producers there, you know, Jay Diller's and whatnot, and everybody else.
Dilla, we forget about Dilla.
Swiss Beats and whatnot. And forget about Dilla. But with Kanye, because he was just so big, what was happening was, even when Kanye started having his first little bits of controversy, Not the ones that were seen as good controversy, like, Hurricane Katrina with Thingy saying that George Bush doesn't care about black people. That was seen as good controversy. We're talking about like the Taylor Swift stuff, for example, back in, what was that, 09 maybe, something like that? His mom died 07. Yeah, maybe 09 it was, around then. When people still worked with Kanye West, they knew he was a loose cannon. People still work with it. Even when Kanye said that slavery was a choice back in 2012, 2013, whenever that was, and he started wearing a Trump hat and being MAGA because he didn't like being told what to do, he was still producing for literally every single. He produced one of Rihanna's greatest songs ever, "Bitch Better Have My Money." Bitch Better Have My Money. That's a Kanye production. He got that idea from "I'm Gonna Get You Sucker," that classic black film.
Great film.
Like, yeah, absolute classic. People still love Kanye. Loved him then. Now, if I can go, if we can talk about his influence over music, his fashion and style, I'm telling you, from 2005 to about 2000 maybe 13, every single body wanted to dress as. No, you know what? Probably even longer than that. I'll say 2015 because we'll get to the fashion part, right?
I used to rock an oversized polo. I rocked that shit back in the day.
What color was it?
The red one. Yeah, the red one. I rinsed that. It was like light red by the time I finished with that. Every photo of me back in the day is rocking that polo.
It was okay because here's the thing, right? Kanye, you remember, just like I remember, what rappers were wearing in the 90s, right? I love the old school Raiders era, the NWA, Dr. Dre, Raiders hat, Raiders, but I just thought it was just so cool, looked so gangster, the Ice Cube, Boys in the Hood type. I like that, right? Then we went through the sort of exaggerated bagginess, FUBU, Sean John, Rockaware, everybody, big prints, baggy trout, big white tees, do-rags hats, big fake, obviously fake chains, all of that stuff, right? We did all of that. 50 Cent came in, it was basically the same stuff. And then obviously I've talked a little bit about Kanye and his influence on fashion. I believe that Kanye also made the neutral color outfits bigger and popular. The neutral, the creams, the sort of browns, the plains. When he dropped, so okay, let me go to his sneaker line. So 2000 and I think it was 2009, right? 2009 was mad for Kanye, right? 2009, Kanye West becomes the first ever non-athlete to get a Nike trainer deal. Right?
Yes, I forgot about the trainers. Yeah, I forgot about the trainers.
Bro, trainers, right? He was the first non-athlete to get one. Now, I remember, because obviously I was hauling on Kanye 2009, right? He got these trainers, these Nikes, and I remember seeing them and going, you know what? They look sick. They look actually quite nice, right? Now, they are still to this day the most exclusive pair of trainers you can ever get from somebody, right? Unless you own a pair of game-worn Jordans or the original pair of Back to the Futures, you're not getting them, right? Yeah. That's it. So they sold out, number one. Then he dropped out number two, the second version of them, which made them even better, right? They were based off of Ferrari. The Red Octobers are the rarest trainer you can get now. They're worth 30 grand. If you can find any brand new, it's probably about 40 grand, right? You wouldn't buy them because you can't wear them because they're so old now, 16, 17 years, it would actually just crumble, right? Destroys the Nike world. Nike, everybody's losing their mind trying to get these trainers. Now, I remember doing security back then, because when they were big, about 2012, I was doing security for various bands all over the place. Blink 182, every one of them had on a pair of Kanye West Yeezy 2s, right? And I remember going, whoa, how do I get them? Everybody had them because they were sick. They had a strap on. They were definitely, he said he took some influence from, definitely from the Back to the Futures, right? The Air Mags, that's what they're called, Air Mags. Yeah. Anyway, sick. Now, I think it was 2013, Kanye's like, I want to leave Nike. And I'm like, no, I want to get a pair, man. Don't leave. I can't afford them yet. Don't leave. And he wanted out because he said he wanted a better share of the profits And he wanted them to be readily available because I'm telling you, even now with my means and whatnot, if he dropped them, I would still struggle to get a pair. They're tough. So he leaves, which is a bad boy move, because are you going to leave a money spinner like that with the biggest sports brand in the world? No. He leaves. He joins Adidas, right? And I'm like, man, Adidas, I like Adidas, but, Nike, you've already got it in. He's starting again. Comes out with these Yeezy Boost 350s, right? Black ones, if I remember, in the gray. Bam, sell out. I'm like, you know what? They look all right. They got they got a unique design. Boom, 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 boom. Not only do they become Adidas's number one shoe, Kanye drops, I think he probably dropped about 25 different silhouettes of these kicks, maybe more. But about 12 of them from 300, 350, 500, 750, about 12 of them are actually popular, as in they sell. Now, if you've got one silhouette of a trainer, your style, colors, whether they're camo, patchwork, red, blue, yellow, is infinite. When you've got 12, you've got so many different color choices you can pick from, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And obviously, Kanye added on 2 billion, I think it was, onto Adidas' stock purely based off these trains. They were everywhere. I've still got
the
pairs.
Business brain behind them, the business of him.
This is what I'm saying, bro. The business of Kanye. He knew the thing was, he had a great deal with Nike. I say a great deal, as in it was doing really well. But he knew his worth, he knew his fan base, and he knew his creative mind. And he put this all into their competing brand. And not only was it much more successful, it became the number one thing at that brand. Nobody cared about Adidas other than the Yeezy. There was a whole thing where Kim Kardashian said Yeezy's jumped over the Jumpman, right? In one thing, right? Yeezy's bigger than Air Jordan. It wasn't at the time, but it definitely could have been. Now, here's the thing. When you own your own sneaker line, right? Like in the same sense as Michael Jordan, do you really think Michael Jordan is changing colors on trainers anymore? No. Do you think Jordan's looking at a pair of Jordan 7s and going, no, how about we put them in gold? No, we don't give a shit. He's just getting the money and just leaves it. It's a machine.
He gets the check. He's playing golf.
Exactly. What makes wearing those horrendous trousers he wears? What makes suits. Jordan? Oh God, he's the worst dresser.
He's shocking. Him and Steve Harvey, just those suits and those trousers. Oh man!
What makes Jordan's stuff so good? I know he needs help. What makes Jordan's stuff so good is that most of the trainers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, most of them he wore in games and won championships in. So people can go, hey, I want to get the flu games because that's the one when he had the flu and right? Whereas with Kanye, there is none of that. You can't look at a pair of Yeezy 500s and go, those are the ones Kanye wore when he won no, there's none of that. It's just purely based off the look and the vibe. Now, he also popularized foams in sandals. You look around now, everybody's been wearing these bleak foam. I remember when he first dropped those foams, those cage foams over the fit. I can't remember the name that's come from me. Everybody was like, what the hell are these? Everybody wears them. You go on a holiday, everybody's in them. He had 2 billion onto Adidas, man. And he had, I'm not going to call it a breakdown because that sounds like a pass for his racist comments and all this nonsense. But he wanted out of that contract. And I'm sure we were all watching when Kanye was saying how we started on this anti-Semitic racist stuff, and Adidas didn't get rid of him immediately. And Kanye was goading them, saying, they won't get rid of me. Bet you won't get rid of me. Kanye wanted out, but they didn't want to let him go, even though he was talking about DEFCON 3 and all this, because they knew the Yeezy line, the Yeezy brand is so profitable. They didn't want to let him go until there was a video clip of him showing porn
I remember.
How weird was that?
Yeah.
And even he was like, not right now. And again, Now, I believe that Kanye's gone down this anti-Semitic thing for the same reason Dave Chappelle went down the whole trans thing, because he was not used to people giving him backlash for anything he'd said in that way. And then he's like, well, I'm just going to keep poking this bear and see where it goes. And then eventually you end up in a hole, and it's like, guys, what are we doing? And then Kanye wanted to get out of his, business deal, his record deal. He wanted to own his own masters and all that stuff. So for some reason, he decides to just turn into this crazy anti-Semitic guy. And then he wanted out of his Adidas deal. I believe he wanted out of his Adidas deal because he saw how much money he was making on Adidas. They'd made him a billionaire. He was making good money. The profits were way better than he was making on Nike. Way better. But I think he got to a point where he just wanted to own shipping, own his own factories, own all of that stuff. And because think about it, if you've done it one time with Nike, you've done it again with Adidas. And Kanye was bowing out when it was still the hottest. Listen, there's a pair of Kanye West Yeezys. I think they're 750s. He only dropped them in 2015, 2016. He's never dropped any more since. They are my number one trainers I'm a sneakerhead. They are the number one kick in the entire world that I'm dying to get a hold of. They are so nice.
How much would they cost?
And he's only ever dropped. How much would they be? Let me Google this. How much would they be now? Honestly, I reckon they're probably worth about. Is it Yeezy 700? I want to say Yeezy 700. But sorry, the connection's a bit.
It keeps like I'm
I think it was a good idea that we did
that. The good stuff about this is it records your one as well, and then it'll upload from your computer and it'll upload from my computer.
Well, it's been recorded on mine anyway. But yeah,
cool. Have you been to Flight Club in New York?
He comes out of that deal reluctantly. They didn't want to. And I just think now what's happened is he's kind of realized that it's actually quite hard to get your own distribution center and all this stuff. And because he's so easily distracted, and now that he's stuck on this stupid cultural nonsense, he's just honestly, and even with Kanye saying all this crazy racist stuff and the horrendous tweets, take his fucking Twitter away from him. Jesus Christ, man.
Somebody
even with all the thousands of tweets and stuff. Again, it's what you said earlier. You can't shut. People aren't telling him to shut up and taking his phone off him.
No.
Here's the thing: if Kanye West dropped a new pair of whatever the Yeezy name is, trainers, right? And I actually think the only reason he hasn't done that yet is because he's waiting for I think he's got like a time thing on a contract, maybe with the name. You know, like when you quit a job, you have to wait 3 years till you can get it back. It's like material or something. I think there's something like that.
I've just turned my screen off a moment, just so it's low data mode, just so I think it'll be better. I'll still get the video of you.
Yeah.
But I think it'll just be better. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, it would still be popular if he did. These are my reasons why I think, and again, we can talk about all the racist stuff, all the horrendous stuff. It's horrible. And it's just a shame that we got here, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yes, it's sad more than anything else, isn't it, for him? Because he had so much like goodwill from people.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said this. Kanye West has meant so much to me in my life, but he's the only celebrity in the entire world who I legitimately think is absolutely a genius that I would never want to meet in real life.
Oh yeah. You got to be careful who you meet. You're famous people.
Dwayne Johnson, doesn't he just seem like the nicest dude?
Yeah. He does.
Just seems like you could meet him, say hello, he'd shake your hand, you'd have a good time. Taylor Swift, it seems like she's just nice. Yeah. Like Kanye, you just can't. And I think because of his influence on the music game, forget all the awards he's won, Grammys and whatnot, just the way that he changed the way hip-hop was as well, and how people looked at hip-hop back then and how people look at hip-hop today. His influence on people, all of the new rappers love Kanye West. They agree. You can speak to hip-hop historians and they will say, we think overall, we're not talking individual rapping, we're not talking individual producing, overall cultural impact and in terms of what the music that they brought out, they all say that Kanye West is the best. You could say people like Tupac, for a guy who died at 26, had the most impact ever for a guy who died. Biggie Smalls, for a guy that only dropped, what, two albums? One album after he died, you could say. Yeah, it's crazy. But in terms of what they've done and people they've influenced, and Chance the Rapper, and Travis Scott, then we can talk. Then we can music. We can talk about cultural. We can talk about fashion. There has never been somebody who has ever done that. There is no. Listen,
I got a counter argument. I've got one.
Sorry, hang on, you're breaking up.
I've got a counter argument to that.
Hold on, I can't hear you there. Do you wanna just call me back or something?
Yeah, bear with me. What I'll do, I'll stop this recording, it'll upload, and then I will call you.
Well, I'm still recording on my end.
Okay, well, let's just carry on. Can you hear me?
I can hear. I can hear a bit. Yeah, it's breaking up, but I can hear a bit.
Okay, so my counter argument to that, and I agree with you in terms of him being up there for all that all-round stuff, but you've got to put LL Cool J in that box then. Because LL Cool J, think of who he influenced over the last 40 years. So, first rapper ever on Def Jam. Every rapper since then has been influenced by him with his fighting talk. Then he dropped all the Lover Man stuff. Then he was like an owner of FUBU. Then he had his own TV show. Then he was in the movies. Then he come up with the actual title of the show. Nah. He was the one with the goats. He come up with the goats.
Listen, I can give you that, but we're talking, bro. Listen, people in Asia are not listening to LL Cool J. They're not buying LL Cool J trainers. They're not queuing up. There's no, and I'm not saying. Listen, hey, LL Cool J has got some of my favorite songs of all time off his first album, when he's that young dude in the bucket hat. Yeah, that 16. LL Cool J in the tracksuit. I'm bad. Do you know how mad that track? I get it.
Yeah.
And when you're a guy like LL Cool J, I guarantee you can sit there and you look at what Kanye's doing, for example, and you go, man, I was doing that kind of stuff. Why didn't nobody come to me like that? Why didn't people come me like that? And I think because Kanye built up, I think also because he was producing for people in the 90s, he'd already built up that kind of rep. And he also made people feel okay to not be gangster, which is key. Yeah. LL Cool J was a gangster. He was a good-looking, in-shape dude. Yeah. He was tough, man. LL Cool J, LL Cool J talked about how sexy he was. That was his whole thing. Kanye West was like, I'm not really that sexy necessarily, but hey, she might like me, she might not. He made people feel okay, and he transcended, because there was a thing where, because here's the thing, if you rap gangster, you're going to get all people from all races, right? You're going to get white people, you're going to get black people, you're going to get whatever, right? But when you are rapping about just love and my mom being in hospital and fashion and all this sort of stuff and being vulnerable, you're going to get everybody, bro. Kanye could drop a new pair of Yeezys on his own brand tomorrow. They are queuing up around the corner in China, Japan, South Korea, Jamaica. People are losing their mind to get hold of these. He's still got that influence. Here's the thing. If Kanye came out and did a year apology tour, right? Like a proper apology tour. Like, you know what, guys,
Smith's on at the moment.
I didn't have my meds. I was taking, I was on all sorts of drugs myself and self-medicating, and I can see what I did back then, and it was horrible. Because he hasn't hurt no one physically that we really know of. He hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't shot anyone. He hasn't beat anybody up. He could easily make a U-turn and get back in, because people want to play his music. People want to work with him because they know that he still creates hits. People still want to work with him for fashion. Nobody, mate. He made he joined Nike and Adidas and was the hottest thing on both brands immediately. Adidas didn't want to get rid of him because it was making him so much money. Everybody was dressing like him. Everybody wanted to wear the Givenchy, Bape, Balmain. Bape, you can also say Pharrell and Lil Wayne and sure, but Balmain, Givenchy, Balenciaga, all of these brands, people like us who were, just broke, normal dudes, we all were following because we never heard of these brands, and all of a sudden they were massive. He helped create Skims. It was his. He's recognized as it being his idea. Yeah. Skims is huge.
Of course. Yeah.
Skims is a mess. They had a whole court thing about it. Skims is huge, and again, this is what happens with Kanye, man. He dominated the music scene. He was winning Grammy after Grammy after Grammy. Everybody loved these songs. Everybody loved this production. Gangsters from the 90s were angry at him because they were like, who's this guy? He's not tough. 50 Cent hated him so much. Remember when 50 Cent dropped that album, if something I may destroy or something myself, whatever, and Kanye was dropping, I think it was Graduation maybe at the time. And they had a bet, didn't they? And the bet was who could sell the most albums. If I remember correctly, 50 Cent sold, I think it was 500,000 or 750,000 albums, which, by the way, in today's world, that is mental. If you sell 500,000 albums in today's, you are the top. Yeah, crazy. Kanye sold, I think it was 1.2 million or something. Kanye beat him by a good couple 100,000. 50 Cent said he was retired. He wouldn't, obviously. That was a downturn of 50 Cent's career for sure, because he publicly bet him, and Kanye just kept flying. Fashion, he had his own fashion line. He had his own Yeezy line. You'd go on websites and you would see all there. You'd see guys like A$AP Rocky. Travis Scott owes everything. His whole Jordan line, his whole fashion line, his whole sound, he owns it all to Kanye. Chance the Rapper does. Drake himself has said, if it wasn't for Kanye West, I would not be the guy that I am now. This guy, and again, I do not agree with his views. Everything I'm saying, we can say up to 2014 before all the racism if you want. It's easy. It's undeniable that he is one of the GOATs, but he's not. I don't think he's a GOAT for anything. Even though musically, I can put him as a GOAT hip-hop. 100% Mount Rushmore hip-hop GOAT. He's top 2 and he's not 2. Like I can do that. But if I want to go influence over the culture, Gold Digger. Do you know how big he made Gold Digger? That saying. When people talk, huge. That's all through him. He made Jamie Foxx's career outside of acting and whatnot. Musically, he pushed Jamie Foxx and made him. We could talk about all the, obviously Diddy and Jay-Z and all these other people. But I just think culturally, musically, and fashion-wise, as a collective, Kanye West. This is what makes him a GOAT.
Closing argument.
Collectively, all of those things, he stands alone.
I think you've won the argument there.
Say that again.
I think you've won the argument there. I can't argue with that. Yes, yeah.
Bro, I could argue. Somebody could say to me, argue to me why my own mom is great, and I would have less of a passionate argument. Fuck, why Kanye West is a GOAT.
So that was Darren Harriott on why Kanye West is the greatest of all time. If you've got any thoughts, please leave a comment. Please, as well, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on Instagram as well. Give us a follow. And feel free to just drop me a DM, suggest some guests, suggest some greatest of all time as well. Just tell me who your GOAT is. And until then, I'll catch you next week.